How's it going, everyone? Seems like digital media ownership and game ownership in general has been a point of discussion for the last year or so, and we definitely need to talk about one game from your guys's and my favorite publisher in Ubisoft getting delisted. Now, the game's already been delisted, but it's actually shutting down forever, and it's a AAA $60 game. Yes, it's damn near a decade old, 9.5 years or so old, but it's also a game that was $60, that was monetized on top of its regular release, and now it damn well may be a coaster if you have a physical copy of the game, and if you have a digital copy of the game, it's absolutely useless, so let's talk all about it. But yes, the original Crew, the game that released back in December of 2014, and I don't care if you want to say the game is 9.5 years old at this point, the game released in December of 2014, and guess what? It was a $60 game. What is going on now? Well, the game is already no longer available to purchase on various digital storefronts. However, all additions and additional content for the Crew are no longer available for purchase. The game will remain playable until March 31st of 2024 for all the Crew owners. It's March 26th. What happens on March 31st? After this date, the game's server will shut down, which means this game will not be accessible anymore. Guys, this was a game that was a $60 release and had bonus content on top of that. I'm sorry, in this case, Ubisoft should have patched in some sort of offline component when you're selling games, and I don't remember how much the Crew Ultimate Edition was. Look, it wasn't as egregious as it is now. I don't think the Ultimate Edition for the Crew 1 was like $120 like they do with games these days, like $120 Ultimate Editions, which I just think is repulsive whenever I see that. And back in 2014, you didn't have like the early access gimmick popping off like you do now, so they probably got away with like a $70 or $80 Ultimate Edition, but it was still probably a hefty cost. And then, you know, I played the Crew when it initially came out, but obviously it wasn't a game that I was invested into for a long period of time. I'm sure the game was monetized for a while on top of its initial release. I mean, the game on its Steam page notes in-app purchases, so I don't know exactly how the monetization worked in the original Crew, and my memory's a little bit foggy as far as that's concerned, but it was monetized beyond its initial release, so you would think that there would be some sort of offline component that would be implemented in the game. Throw out a patch so people can at least play the game that they spent a lot of money on. Nope, that is not the case. The game is just shutting down forever, and it will be gone forever. Even if you spent over $60 on it, or even if you spent $5 on it on sale, I don't care how much money you spent on it. This is a big budget title from a company that has uber amounts of money. You can do an offline patch, and guess what? If you do an offline patch, there's reason for you to continue to sell the game. Ultimately, I think it would be a net positive for everyone, but Ubisoft doesn't care. First of all, they're probably looking at it from the lens of, hey, these suckers that are still playing Crew, we gotta get them on Crew 2, we gotta get them on Crew Motorfest. They ain't about you playing the legacy titles. They need you to spend $70 on their newer games or sign up to Ubisoft Connect. But I believe there is a team that is working on some sort of offline component to mod it into it or patch it into it. I don't know exactly how it's working, but Ubisoft is one of those publishers that, you know, they do a lot of things like this in terms of things that, from a consumer standpoint, aren't the best in the world. Ubisoft is one of the publishers and one of the prime publishers that really popped off in terms of trying to monetizing their games for all they're worth. In-game microtransactions, even if they're full price $60, $70 games, microtransactions, and you still got the people being like, you don't have to buy the microtransactions, guys, you don't have to buy them, you can just play the game. Tell me that the fundamental game design of Assassin's Creed has not been altered because of microtransactions. Tell me that with a straight face right now, because you cannot. That game's game design from a fundamental standpoint has been altered to promote microtransactions, and if you think that isn't the case, you are kidding yourself. You are absolutely kidding yourself, and some of you guys might like the fundamental redesign of Assassin's Creed, but if you don't think an aspect of that was to continue to monetize the game with microtransactions and so on and so forth, you are out of your mind. And, you know, microtransactions, I understand why they're a thing in games that are budget titles, games that are online, and, you know, to continue to monetize the game. Yo, it's a business. I try to be a little bit lenient, and I try to be mostly lenient when I see publishers monetizing it, because I get it. You got shareholders to appease. You gotta make as much money as you can. I get it that it's a business, but sometimes I think you push it a little bit too far, and at that point, I'm just like, all right, buddy. When Warner Brothers is screwing over Rocksteady, and Rocksteady is a shell of their former self, I'm gonna be like, all right, buddy. Like, this has gone on way too far, and it's got on too far. In the case of, like, Assassin's Creed, bro, they're making money hand over fist, so, like, even if I have a temper tantrum, like, what's that gonna do? They're gonna continue making money hand over fist with Assassin's Creed. But in the case of this, it's like, yo, this was a big budget release. It was a $60 game, shutting down forever, no offline component. It's just gonzo. Happy, good luck with your coaster. It's one thing, again, when a game like Mag from Zipper Interactive on the PlayStation 3 shuts down. Like, yo, it's an online-only game. It's an online FPS. Zipper ain't even around anymore. Like, yo, it is what it is when it comes to massive action game. I love you, Mag, but it is what it is as far as that's concerned. But in the case of The Crew, again, I think it just would have been so simple to implement, at least from my lens of just talking about video games on YouTube and making commentaries. I feel like getting an offline component for this game for a company like Ubisoft that has FU money, it couldn't have been that difficult. And then you could preserve the game on PlayStation 4, you know, a PC, Xbox, all that good stuff. And, you know, you don't have to continue selling the game. I certainly understand why you wouldn't want to continue selling a game that had a significant chunk of its main vehicle, no pun intended, removed from it. But even in the case of just doing the consumer a solid, like, man, just build some goodwill. Goodwill goes a long way with your consumer base, and I'm not saying that there's gonna be a lot of people that care about The Crew getting pulled. I understand it's a very niche audience, but do them a solid. They supported you for so long. You monetized the hell out of this game. They paid a ton of money. Do them a solid and give them some sort of offline component. Would it be the end of the world? I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. And again, I just don't want this to be normal place in gaming. I even saw with something like Knockout City. Knockout City, which, by the way, comes from a far smaller I know it was initially published by EA, but then I believe it's Velen Studios got the publishing rights to it, and that game is shutting down its online servers. But I believe they're doing something where they're gonna let dedicated servers exist, so on and so forth, so the game is being preserved. And that's Knockout freaking City, a very small scale project. In the case of The Crew, Ubisoft certainly could have figured it out, and I would like a lot of games that, I understand, you gotta shut them down, server costs, yada yada yada. Try to figure out an offline component, try to preserve the game the best you can, and that's just my 2 cents. I get it in the case of the Mags of the world, you know, I ain't digging up my PS3 to try to get a massive action game going right now, though. You know what, if the PS5 had backwards compatibility and Mag was on there, bro, I'd probably pop in Mag. If the online servers were up, I'd probably pop in Mag and be like, yo, this is a throwback. But I digress. I understand in the case of certain situations like a Mag, especially given we don't even have backwards compatibility. But you got the idea. Crew is one that I feel like would have been easy to implement some sort of offline component, at least from my uneducated lens. It would be fairly easy. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.